OCR Street Ministry, Yokas here. So I'm in the middle of doing Bible study, and I'm looking at Mark chapter 12. Let's see, chapter 12, verse 18 through 23. And I'm looking at the question that the Sadducees asked to Jesus, right? So they said, then some Sadducees who say there is no resurrection came to him, and they asked him, saying, Teacher, Moses wrote to us that if a man brother dies and leaves his wife behind and leaves no children, his brother should take his wife and raise up offspring for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers. The first took a wife, and dying, he left no offspring. And the second took her, and he died, nor did he leave any offspring. Then the third likewise. So the 7 had her and left no offspring. Last of all, the woman died also. Therefore, from the resurrection, then when they rise, whose wife will she be? For all 7 had her as a wife. So I'm looking at the scripture and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So I'm checking this out and it just popped out at me, right? It popped out at me because the Sadducees were well educated, influential, wealthy. They did not believe in mortality, spirits, or angels. Now, what I want to zero in at, guys, is the fact of the law of Moses in Deuteronomy chapter 25. Let me just zero in on this. Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 5 through 6, New King James Version here. If brothers dwell together and one of them dies and has no son, the widow of the dead man shall not be married to a stranger outside the family. Her husband's brother shall go in to take her as his wife and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her. And it shall be that the firstborn son which she bears will succeed in the name of his dead brother. That is, his name may not be blotted out of Israel. So I'm looking at this, right? And then I started to understand that Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 5 through 6 established something that came to be called, I don't know how to pronounce this, it's called Levirate marriage. You guys got to help me. I'm probably chopping it all up. But anyways, meaning, it's the Latin word vir, meaning brother-in-law. And I'm looking at that word brother-in-law. What does brother-in-law really mean? And I realized brother-in-law goes all the way back to Deuteronomy. Brother-in-law. You get it? Brother-in-law. The law of Moses. Brother-in-law. Oh, snap. That was amazing, right? So essentially, the practice made sure that if a married man died childless, his brother would take the widow as a wife, so his son, and take the widow as a wife, so a son and heir could be provided for the deceased man, and his family name inheritance would not perish. So we actually are still practicing this through marriage. When I married my wife, my brother, my biological brother, became her in-law. Do you get it, guys? In-law, stimulating back from the laws of Moses.